Self-rejection is really about shutting down the self, preventing yourself from having what you really want, what you really desire, preventing yourself believing in your self-limiting beliefs, constructs, conditioning, which sabotage you from having the life, the connection. So it prevents you from having the love you want, it prevents you from having the money and the wealth and the success you want, and it prevents you from living with joy and peace and abundance. You know, it's really interesting. I want to tell you a story first that I want you all to listen to. So there was this guy who basically, I put this out in my own stories today, but he won an award, right? He won an award, and let's say he was a writer or something, and he came back home with his award, and he was really sad, and he was really morose, and he didn't know how to really celebrate it. And his wife, who was with him, was like, "Oh my God, you won this award. I'm so happy for you." And he's like, "Yeah, but whatever. It's not really going to work out. And people are it's going to give me too much attention. Maybe I'll be charged or whatever." So his wife was so upset about his pessimism and his, basically his self-rejection, that she kept trying to motivate him to say, "Listen, you won this. It's something really amazing and special. I want you to believe in it. I want you to value yourself for it." So gradually with time, this guy started to say, "You know what? I won an amazing fucking award. I deserve this. I should learn to celebrate myself," right? A lot of us are in that same space where we're like, we don't know how to celebrate our small wins. Maybe we'll get a little encouragement from a partner, a friend, a boss. We'll be like, "Okay, you know what? It's not so bad." Then he takes his award. This is the really important part. He takes this award that he just won, this moment of achievement for himself, and he goes to his parents' place, because unconsciously, this is a man who's in his 40s, has his own kids, but he still is seeking the validation and love of his parents, much like all of us, right? So he takes this award and he goes to his parents' place, and he says, "Hey, Dad, look what I won." He first goes to his dad and he's like, "Look what I won. I won this amazing award." And he's like, "Oh my God, that's great, son. What does this mean? Did you get a pay hike at your job because you won this award?" And he's like, "No, but they gave me this amazing trophy though. Look at the size of this thing." And his dad's like, "Well, what the fuck is that gonna do?" He's like, "That's not gonna pay your bills." He's like, "That's not gonna put food on the table." He's like, "Man, that's nothing." He's like, "Come back to me when you win something that makes you more money." And so he puts his head down and he's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." He's sad. So then he goes to his mom, who he obviously is hoping to get some love and validation from, takes his big award, and he says, "Hey Mom, I won this amazing award and I want to show you." And she's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing, son." She's like, "Did you become the director of your company?" And he's like, "No, I just became the manager of my team though. I got a promotion, became a manager." She's like, "Oh, but you're not the director?" He's like, "No, Mom, I'm not the director." She's like, "Oh, then, no one's really going to know you. No one's really going to pay attention to you." And she's like, "Then that doesn't really mean anything." And what's so interesting is this same person who has this award now, he listens to both his parents. He's like, "You know what? You guys are right." He's like, "It's just a fucking award. It's nothing." He's like, "What's the big deal?" He's like, "Because of this, I'm either going to get taxed more or this or that. I'm going to get more attention." So he now shuts himself down, goes back home, takes this award, puts it at the back of a cupboard and locks it up so he can never be seen. When I watched this, I felt so much pain inside, because I recognized how much that happens to so many of us, who we want to celebrate and love ourselves, and we go to, this is what's so important. I want you all to just listen to this and tell me how you feel, if this has been you before. When you have something special that happens to you, do you ever celebrate it first, or do you run to someone you love and you want to celebrate it with them? You want them to notice you. I want you guys to throw that in the chat, because I want you to pay attention to this and see for yourself. When you actually achieve something, you do something well. Let's say you even fucking wake up on time. Let's say you win something. Let's say you go to the gym. Let's say you lose some weight. Let's say you stick to a healthy routine or a diet or a commitment or a discipline. Do you celebrate it with yourself, or do you go generally to someone you love or whose love you want and try and celebrate it with them? So most likely your parents, or maybe your environment, your family, your partner, because you want to earn their love. You want them to recognize you. I want you guys to throw that in the chat for me right now, if you don't mind. Okay, beautiful. Someone said, "I want my husband to acknowledge it." Amazing. Who else is out there? I want to hear what you guys have to say. "I go to someone I love and I share it with them immediately." Okay, what else? Throw that out there. I want to hear some more. Okay, put that out there. And this may sound really beautiful, and I want you to tell me about this. Someone said, "I always go to someone, never thought of this. I want to share with someone I love." Every single one of us. Yes, I go to my parents. Either I go to my partner or I go to someone I love. We can all see here how much, when we achieve something, when we win something, when we do something good, it only means something to us if it actually means something to the people whose love we want. It only means something to us if it's recognized and validated by the people whose love we want. So now what happens if they don't really love or validate it? If they don't see it as such a big deal, if they don't really care that, like, we've like been disciplined for 15 days in a row, that we've lost so much weight, what if they don't care that we've gone through so much inner work, that we've drawn a healthy boundary with someone else? Then immediately we learn to reject our own success. And that's self-rejection. If everything that we've done in this moment that we've achieved, we've taken it to people whose love we want, and they're like, nah, it's not good enough. Oh, what big deal is it? Oh, someone else's son now or daughter has done better. Then immediately we feel crushed. This same achievement, which is such a fucking amazing thing. This is an award that's ours. This is an achievement that's ours. This is a celebration that's ours. This immediately gets shut down because we have learned, you know what? You're right, guys. I have learned to celebrate myself from looking at you guys, from looking at my parents, from looking at my environment and how they celebrated themselves. And the problem is, our parents, our environment, our loved ones most likely didn't get the space and the opportunity to value and love themselves. So now when we come to them with our own love, they're like, what the fuck is this? Be humble, don't bring this up, shut this down, this isn't good enough, I don't really care about it, any of those things, and it destroys us. I have had this feeling so much in my life, where my own dad, because he grew up in an environment where he didn't have enough love and validation for his own achievements, every time I tried to, even with the small wins, it's only the big wins that were above and beyond that he may notice slightly, but with the smallest wins, he'd be like, yeah, that's nice, but that's it, he'd shut it down. There was no celebration, there was no love. My medals were actually collected and I was very athletic, and my medals, unfortunately, were collected in just like a tin jar. Medals are meant to be hung and for people to be seen and celebrate, and they were just collected in a tin jar. You couldn't even see them. No one even knew they would exist. How many of you have felt like that before, where you've taken something that you love or something you want to celebrate or something you want to share, you've taken it to somebody you love, and they've shut it down. They've unconsciously rejected you. How many of you have experienced that before? I want you guys to throw that in the chat and tell me if you've experienced it. And you know what the difficult part about that is? What the challenging part about that is that we are so attached to their recognition or their acceptance and approval of our achievements, of our existence, of our performance, of our love, of our sense of self, that if they don't approve of it, we will actually reject ourselves. We will actually shut down and reject ourselves. This happens very often in relationships. This happens very often when we're looking to move forward in maybe a workplace. Hey, and welcome to the Inner Yats YouTube page. If you like our content, make sure you click the like and the subscribe button so that you get more of these amazing videos that keep coming your way.